It has been said that the Republican Party's testicles just dropped. Ladies and gentlemen, we're live a little after 3 o'clock Central Standard Time in here with an emergency update transmission. Michael Moore has gone way further than Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, and many other Democrats on Bill Maher last night, calling for an uprising, calling for a million-person march to surround Congress, calling for Trump to be removed, calling Trump a dictator, calling him unelected. These are all quotes. And saying we need to rise up. We're going to play some of the clips. The full clip, 6-minute interview, is on Infowars.com right now. There's the Washington Times reporting on it, but they only hit one angle. Michael Moore says he'll surround the U.S. Capitol to stop Trump's next Supreme Court pick. It goes way, way, way beyond that. And Michael Moore is one of the top people in the Democratic Party. You've got McCain, who's basically, they call him their leader, even though he's supposedly a Republican. They've called him their leader, their shadow government president. He's dying. He can't vote, brain tumor. You've got Hillary, really unpopular. But you really got Obama, who's sitting it out because he knows he ran the illegal spying on Trump during the campaign and things for Hillary, and he really knows if that comes out, he might go to prison. So who is there? Well, there's Michael Moore, and there's Nancy Pelosi, and there's a few others who are the face of the Democratic Party right now, and he really, to a great extent, is the brains of it. He is one of the top 3 or 4 people who actually run the Democratic Party now. And I saw the headline this morning about Bill Maher and how he said they're going to surround Congress and not let them vote to put whoever Trump nominates in. So then I actually watched the clip, and I was like, oh, my God, they're really doing it. Because we saw this a year ago when Congressman Scotus got shot. And then they had a friend of the shooter on, a big Democrat, and they said, well, he wasn't a bad guy. He was a hero. He was fighting the monster Trump, and Will Blitzer nodded his head. And now you've got them saying, kidnap Barron, put him in a cage with pedophiles. Trump's a Nazi. He's got to be taken out. And then showing photos of what Obama did 5 years ago with kids in cages. Since been upgraded. And that happens anywhere when you come to the country illegally. You get locked up until they find out who you are. So they've created this atmosphere. And there's no doubt. Here's what I'm here to say. And I'll go to the videos. There's no doubt from the Soros documents we've got and the admissions that they have decided that the Russiagate's failed. It's a fraud. They're behind the 8 ball now because it's coming out that Spygate is thousands of times bigger than Watergate. So the attempt to set people up like Nixon did now is blown up in their face. So the whole house of cards is in free fall right now. Just imagine it in slow motion, house of cards collapsing. And a year in politics is like a millisecond. And so they see the cards falling or the Jenga tower falling, and they don't know what to do right now other than their cornered rats go for broke. And he basically says that. He says, this will be the last American president if we don't rise up and overthrow him. I'm going to play the clip. What do you mean, last American president, restoring the country, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, Supreme Court ruling, even the outgoing justice that, of course, Trump can block people from 5 countries that don't even check who you are when you get on an airplane. Somalia, we're going to just take random flights. Oh, another plane's coming in from Somalia. That 5 minutes on the street, a woman's kidnapped and raped. No Western journalist can even go there in like a decade. You will be kidnapped. I talked to HBO folks, a producer I know. I've been in a few films he produced, and he was trying to get the funding and even had former military ready to go in, and the insurers wouldn't do it. That's another issue. That's how crazy this is. Failed states where women and children and men are sold on slave blocks because under that interpretation of Islam, they're not humans. And it's all a big joke. So they are pushing this. They mean to go for broke. And they're panicked because the economy's coming back. On the world stage, Trump is been dealt royal flushes over and over again because he's actually trying to fix things. Makes him look like he's got a 5,000 IQ, probably only about 180. But the point is, is that when you try to put a fire out, instead of trying to put gasoline on it, funny, you might be able to actually put it out. And so he's going with policies that are known to reverse the problems we've had, but the globalists want consolidation. I mean, even CNN says Trump savoring his success leaves much of the world wondering what's next on peace deals and the economy and on taking care of veterans and on thousands of factories coming back to the U.S. and the booming economy and 4% growth rate, on and on and on. They don't know what to do. So their answer is, okay, the Russian thing's fake. Okay, there's no sex stuff. Stormy Daniels. They keep going, Republicans are hypocrites. They're always against, people being liberal or having sex, but now they don't care. Trump never ran as a Puritan. And they say he never abused her. And it was a long time ago. And most people supporting Trump aren't even what you call right-wing conservatives. They're just Americanist, common sense pragmatists that know the Democrats and others have sold out to the Communist Chinese and the Fortune 100 that have said they were going to totally bankrupt and conquer this country. We're tired of 270% tariffs on thousands of different items against us, like Canada has, like dairy, and then we have nothing on them. Trump's like, I'll put 100% on you till you stop that. Oh my God, how mean. You're doing 270. They can't believe that he's not a psychopath up there scheming over the power, figuring out what cabal to sell America out to. The lobbyists the doors have been shut on them in D.C. They don't even know what to do right now. And then Michael Moore, this monster, comes out and really signifies and rings the bell or fires the starting gun on the shot heard around the world, just confirming after weeks of them saying, confront Trump supporters, run them out of restaurants, surround them if they're pumping gas, get in their face, all of this. And the Democrats putting out little weak provisos. Oh, no, let's be civil. Let's be nice. And then their surrogates go out and do this to have more slither out like Jabba the Hutt incarnate and sit there and signal this and say the things he said to the whooping Los Angeles, Democrat applause. Lets you know that they mean business. And if you want to know what their business is, document cam shot, please. Here's an article from January of this year, exclusive to us, later confirmed by the FBI. George Soros internal documents sent to us by a brother of an Antifa member that got in some trouble. We'll leave his private issues alone. He went into his brother's house and found all the stuff. His brother is a professor and found all the battle plans of how they work with Blue State and Blue City police, the leadership, to stage attacks, try to mainly get black Americans to join them in crime to cause a race war. But how they are given exact training on what to burn, where to attack. The police direct them with maps, where they're allowed to commit the crimes. They'll even have unsuspecting police that order to stand down that they are able to attack for the news. And this is all to create a civil war mentality in America. Documents detail plan for civil unrest and martial law in Baltimore. I think I'm going to ask the president to tweet that. Regardless, this needs to get out. I'm going to leave it at that. This is coffin nails politically to them if this gets out. So they're desperate. They're cornered. They're making their move. And now in this whole climate, Michael Moore, very slickly, Michael Moore's smart. He didn't want you to have guns, but he's got 6 bodyguards. I videotaped him myself. Just tried to walk on New York Street to ask him a question. They were physically attacking me. It's on video in my film, Martial Law. And he spaces it out. He says, oh, the Democrats, we got to do our job. But our job is to surround the Capitol, not let them have their vote, block that. And he says, oh, we got to have an uprising. We've got to rise up against him, quote. And it just goes on from there. Oh, he wasn't elected. He's a dictator. No, people in the states voted. And then their votes are bundled legislatively into the state. And we know millions of illegals voted. So if you look at it, Trump won the popular vote as well. But we have that so populous states can't dominate smaller states. So they all have an amount of delegates. And that's the reality. And there were many Democrats elected in the Electoral College vote and not in the popular. They know that, but they just keep. I had a lady in the street yesterday go, how dare you, Alex, support this dictator who puts children in cages? And I said, ma'am, it was Obama with that activity. And what do you expect? They're coming into the U.S. from collapsed areas. She said, shut up, Nazi, and then ran down the street. So they're trying to wind up. Michael Moore is not going to do the killing. But they're trying to get everybody wound up for this violence to somehow intimidate us and intimidate everybody else. No, you've only gotten us to show up and wake up to what's happening. Your intimidation has backfired on you. But just like James Woods said last week, people need to buy guns. They need to go take a training course if you haven't had firearms. Personally, I like shotgun, but like number 4 or 5 bird shots, you don't kill your neighbors. But up close, you can take somebody else in your house. You need to be ready to be attacked because they want to intimidate you not to have bumper stickers. They want to publish voting rolls. They want to publish where ICE lives. These are terrorists, and they're using classic communist tactics, but they work for a bunch of tax-exempt billionaires like Bezos and Gates. They're the ones all running this. And then Moore is just their spokesperson. And I'm just very glad they're honest now how they want to crash the economy to teach us lessons and teach us to submit and all the rest of this. So we're going to go through these clips, and then I'm going to get into some really important evidence of tyranny that affects everybody, no matter what color you are, what party you're in. But the establishment knows they're going down. They're panicked. They're scared. And so now they have nothing left but to officially agitate in the corporate media with the most weak-minded people to physically go before the midterm elections, where they intend to try to steal the election and then start an impeachment. And I think there's a red wave, but there's major fraud. So the wave's big, but they built a seawall to try to block it of fraud, illegal aliens voting, and people voting in dead people's names. The Democrats admit they do it. They call for illegals being able to vote. 14 states let them vote. But they built a seawall of lies and frauds. So our wave's coming in, but we've got to be able to make it over that seawall. So with their fake polls, the rigging debates, all of it, we've got to go to the next level now. And so they know there's a red wave. They know they're about to lose even bigger because there's a major political realignment. It's been 160-something years since this happened. And I told you back on election night, it's a political realignment, but the counter-strike's the real fight. I said, listen, the sleeping giant woke up. They were all confident saying, Madam President, you already had the magazines at Newsweek printed up, the promos at CNN. I said, we just woke these lazy, arrogant bastards up. They were in their own megalomania delusion before. Now the main battle, now the main assault, now the main situation, and this is it. This is it. So they have nothing to lose. They are launching a civil war. They intend to get the cover of some burning cities and some riots going to then send out more professional assassination teams. So if you're a prominent libertarian, conservative, Christian, veterans group, constitutional group, patriot, Democrat that is pro-America and is kind of waking up, I have this confirmed from high-level sources. Plus, I've studied history. I already knew it. People think I have all the sources because I say this, and then I get the high-level sources confirming, and they go, so you were told about the such and such plan. I'm like, no, well, you spelled out exactly. I'm like, well, that's a previous plan under operation. They're like, okay, well, thank you. Most of these globalists have got old battle plans. You don't think they like write a new one up, do you? They're too lazy. So that's what I'm getting at here is I've read over 1,000 history books. I've read thousands and thousands and thousands of globalist white papers. I mean, it's what I do. And so they're very OCD. I don't want to call it lazy, but they've been successful so far doing the same thing over and over again, so they can't help it. It's like big companies, can't ever change culture. That's why they always degrade. And so that's what I'm saying. We know the battle plan. So the Pentagon, the CIA, the patriots that are in there, there's some bad ones too. They're like, so how'd you get the classified briefing? I'm like, I didn't get a classified briefing. Well, how do you know they're doing that? I'm like, because we've confirmed that's actually what they're doing. Because they run the same ops, man. God almighty. It's like asking me to, like, if I'm staying down at the beach visiting family, and like, how do I know to go fishing on a full moon at night? That's when everything goes crazy and you catch them. How do I know to go out with a throw net and the surf and catch stuff in a full moon? I just learned as a little kid that fish go crazy in a full moon. And it's like hunting. If deer season starts and it's 70 degrees in Texas, I don't go deer hunting. But if it's a cold snap 2 weeks into it and it's 20 degrees, well, I'm gonna go out there on the fence line and kill that big buck. I mean, I'm a hunter, and a hunter just means you see it raining. You know when to plant your crops. You know when to, you just tuned into things. And call me the hunter. That's my name. So, and all of you are hunters too. All you men, women, you're all Orion. You're the man, you're the woman, you're the hunter, you're hunting for your baby, you're hunting for your family. And just tune into all the knowledge you've already got and then study this stuff, and it's all right there. We have a criminal attack coming down on us right now. So I want to play, we got a bunch of these clips, but I'll play both clips. So I'm not going to commentate. I'm just going to roll them because I'll stop it 20 times if I do. Because it's just such lies, but just people know they're lying. I'm going to play the first clip. I'm going to play the second clip, but you got to go watch the full clip on Infowars.com. It's 6 minutes long. There's a little monologue. Well, he banners back and forth before they go to the panel. So I guess you could call it a duologue, a dosalogue. But the two kind of banner back and forth, and they go to the full show. But it's 6 minute clip of them just, we got to uprise. We got to do this. We got to do that. And then Moore's like, we got to uprise against this president. He's a dictator. He's the enemy. It's our last shot. It's over. The last American president. He means the real new America, relaunched. And he goes, oh, Handmaid's Tale. I mean, on the Handmaid's Tale, they uprise. He plays these little games. So it's all scripted, and he's a heavy hitter with them, as heavy as it gets. I'd say Moore's number 3 in the Democratic Party right now. I mean, he's one of the few intellectual criminals that actually has sparks going in his brain. He actually is not a moron. He's a bad guy. He's not Pelosi or, these other whack jobs can hardly talk. And he is saying, it's on, we're coming, here it is. And they believe they're going to bloody our noses and then just, here's the thing, they're not just going to try to get rid of Trump. They know they're way behind now culturally. They want the full takeover. They crave power. Those of us that are already successful and love life and liberty, we're not craving power, but we are craving liberty. And get these people off our back. So here's 2 clips of Moore last night, and then I'll get to the really big news on the other side of that. Here it is.
You think it's not a done deal?
Well, I don't think we should give up on the fact. Listen, the Senate right now is 51-49.
Right.
Sadly, McCain will not be able to vote, so it's a 50-49 vote.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah,
Come on. I know we have to, right, we've got to push it off till after November.
And I don't trust every Democrat.
And no, we have to hold the Democratic seats we have. But look, 90% of incumbents are always returned. I mean, so the Democrats in Montana, North Dakota, West Virginia, they've got to do their job. They'll do their job. Our job is to win Nevada, Arizona, and Tennessee, and they can all be won.
But the vote's going to take place before that.
The thing.
No?
No, the idea is, we first have to find ways to stop that vote from happening.
Find ways? What does that mean?
Well, I'll join 1 million other people surrounding the United States Capitol. I will stand there. I will put Bill, let me tell you something. This judge goes through for the rest of at least, all of our lives. It's a right-wing court. That's it. It's over.
Combined with the White House and the Congress, of course.
Yeah, yes. And if this is the last American president, then...
Okay, all right. Yeah. Well, I mean, you're the guy who...
Where was the point when it was too late?
Right.
Where was it?
I get it.
Where was the point where if we had all just risen up,
right?
If we'd just done something, but because it happens in little increments.
That's right. That's how fascism works.
That's how fascism works.
They do it in little...
And listen, we have a president...
We lose 1 norm a week.
We have a president who, by the way, was not elected by the people and constantly refers to himself...
Yes.
He's constantly referring to himself in the Third Reich, and it's...
No, you and I were on this page.
You notice Moore threw a little Nazi comment in when it's Michael Moore who... Kill that mic, thanks. When it's Michael Moore who is funded and supported by George Soros, a living Nazi weirdo fossil who went on 60 Minutes and said, I have made happy time, that's a quote, best time of my life, exhilarating, not ashamed, not sorry for what I did, helping round up Jews. And then it's a litmus test for CNN and the Young Turks and Joe Rogan to say, yeah, that's not being a Nazi. Oh, okay, great. Great time. I'm the Nazi, right? Trump's the Nazi, but not George Soros. No, he actually worked for him and helped round folks up. I get it. Everybody's going to sit this one out as men who just try to make more money and be part of the establishment, not have Apple and YouTube block you. So I see all these little podcasters, calling the whole Ben Shapiro type angle. Just go with what's safe. Just, appease the left. Ben Shapiro came on the same Bill Maher show and kissed his ass. And Ben Shapiro said to Bill Maher, I'm a fan of you. A guy that wants abortion, a guy that wants open borders, a guy that is anti-free speech, is anti-American. And Ben Shapiro said, I watched the clip when I was researching more. He said, I'm a fan of you. And there he is groveling before Maher. And Maher goes, well, we'll finish the interview and see if I'm a fan of you. And after he was done slobbing his knob, he goes, I am a fan. They're like, F yeah, America. Boom, baby. Because the establishments, look, Ben Shapiro, he's the hero. He's on Bill Maher. Why CNN likes him. Boy, he's a smart young man. Might as well have come out of Hillary Clinton's ass. And it's so obvious with these sniveling weasels who want establishment accolades. I've watched Shapiro when he's in front of patriots. He's totally suave and everything. Because that's his prey. But he gets up with Maher, his button's unbuttoned wrong. He's got it buttoned the wrong button up here, and he's all shaking and sweating. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Let me worship Bill Maher. And it's like, ugh. The opposite of me, I get in front of a bunch of Christian families, I start sweating, I get nervous. These are the powerful people. These are the important people. Get in front of some asshole like Maher, I'm on fire and destroy him because I know he's the enemy. But here's the bottom line. They're making their move. They know you're struggling out of their control. They're psychic vampires. They're obsessed with running your life. And they don't know what to do because you're awake to them and they're scared. And they have killed YouTube, killed the NFL, killed Hollywood, cut their profits 30, 40, 50%, killed their audiences 30, 40% because they're just pressing the propaganda. Every show, every movie, every Netflix, every HBO is race war and God's bad and Christians are bad and whites are bad and blah, 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 and blacks better uprise. And that's all these globalist scumbags sitting back going, because they're such racists, like the Clippers owner and all the crap you hear out of these Hollywood owners. They're like, because there's something about leftists and globalists. They hate black people so much, but they think they own you. And they're like, have them riot. That's what they do. They just, it's in the Soros documents right here. Go read them. Go into black neighborhoods with the police in blue cities and have staged provocateur events where the police are even waiting in body armor to be hit and attacked so they can hopefully get the black people to riot and bring in martial law. Holy frickin' Toledo, man. That is some evil-ass crap. But it all came out during the Zimmerman credit. Zimmerman was perfect. He's obviously got a lot of problems. The point is, all the Trayvon Martin stuff was Justice Department funded to try to create race war, but it didn't happen. Doesn't mean they're not bad cops. Doesn't mean there ain't stuff going on that's absolutely wrong. Hell yeah, it goes on. Are there racists that hate black people? Damn right. There's just many black racists, but it doesn't mean we say black people are all bad or white people are all bad because there's a bunch of assholes. I don't mean to use cuss words here. I'm just not on my regular news feed on hundreds of radio stations and TV stations where I got to watch what I say. But man, I'm up here on Saturday because I had said today, I called Dew this morning. He said, I'm going to swim meet. Are we going to do a live show today? And I said, probably not. And then I saw this Bill Maher stuff. And Michael Moore, man, he's one of their top heralds, one of their top people. And he says, we're going to have an uprising, rise up against him. He's a dictator. He's a racist. He's a Nazi. He wasn't elected. And we're not going to let you get your Supreme Court nominee, blah, blah, blah. And I called Dew about 12:30. And I said, get your ass to Mars. Just like they say in Total Recall, which is the war room. That's what this operation is because, man, I just want everybody to have life extension. I want everybody, if they want to work and be creative, to have a great future. It's unlimited what we can do. We're a non-zero sum game. That means the pie, baby, just gets as big as you want it. I mean, let me tell you, I really want to transcend this. But I won't let the globalists program a bunch of people to be racist against me because I'm white and then try to attack me and my family and say, I've got to give up my culture. They want to get rid of race and culture and gender and anything to where any of it's bad to say you have anything that's you because they want this big, homogenous corporate override. And the good news is America and the world is saying no. I love how CNN spins it. I'm glad they brought that up. The UN set up a human rights commission about 12 years ago, and they put Saudi Arabia, Iran, Uganda, and a bunch of other places where if you're gay, you are deader than a doornail, like that. And if you're a woman and try to drive a car or try to have a job, they will put your ass in prison. And Trump gets in and goes, we're not going to fund half of a commission where most of the people on it, like communist China, are selling political dissidents organs. And he said, clean your commission up or we're out of it. A year and a half later, they didn't do that. He said, we're out of there. And then they spin it because the UN body put out something about recognizing racism, and they spin it and say, oh, Trump doesn't recognize racism. He's supporting. It's like if the communist Chinese are killing millions of people who are Chinese, it's okay. Just don't have a black guy kill a white guy or a white guy kill a black guy. Exclusive, Trump appointee gets a UN document on racism, says leaders don't have duty to condemn hate speech. What? He said the UN has no role in censoring people's speech in some global combine. But then they turned that into he's a racist. I'm going to stop right there. I want to play a few clips here at the end, and then I may do one more live report. But I wanted to show you an article that is making the rounds out there. This particular article, there's one out of CBS News, and there's one out of the LA Times, but for some reason my printer has cut this off. This is LA Times. So, in case you didn't know, vaccine inserts say in the insert, depending on the vaccine, dozens of ways it can kill you. Sometimes it's hundreds of ways it can kill you. And they used to try to give people like 10 or 15 vaccines. Now it's like 60. And everybody's got a vaccine horror story. So they've always had exemptions. And there was never a law you had to take it. There was just an exemption if a school had a policy. So they created the illusion of law. And now in California, they've got studies out that the higher educated you are, the more likely you don't take vaccines. So they've passed laws getting rid of the religious exemption and others. So they say there's a medical exemption. They also passed a law if you're 11-year-old or older, once vaccines, the school can convince them that they have the rights, Xing out parental rights, and they give them credit cards, $200, you name it, to take the shots. So you're like, no, son, you're not taking that vaccine. Your daughter, no, you're not taking Gardasil. It killed a bunch of people. It sterilizes you. Here's the, no. Your 11-year-old daughter can say, F you, I'm taking it. So they passed that 3-4 years ago. Well, now in the land of freedom, liberalism, where you're allowed to give blood if you have HIV, because it's a stigma that I can't kill you. California doctor critical of vaccines is punished for exempting 2-year-old boy from all childhood immunizations. He's been put on probation, and they're threatening to take his medical license because the woman told him they'd had bad reactions to vaccines. She's got a right to say no. But that's the new thing. Punish the nurses, punish the doctors, punish the fact that if you go to the most popular clinics in Austin with lines around the block, they're not pushing vaccines because they know damn well. I know the biggest pediatric chain in Austin because my first 3 children were treated there. And I knew the guy that founded it. He retired about a decade ago. And he said, Alex, you're absolutely right. He said, these vaccines are contaminated. They tell us to give people vaccines with SV40 cancer virus in it. He said, I looked up the lot numbers on stuff we were given at these city clinics. They rolled stockpiles of live virus that's got SV40. Simian virus 40. It's killed over 1 billion people, they estimate, of cancer. So it's a bioweapon, but it embeds in your RNA and DNA. It's RNA, it embeds in the DNA and kills you later. But then after he told me in a pang of conscience, he grabbed my arm and he said, don't ever say my name. And I haven't said his name. But I think I might as well, I'm at this point. His last name starts with an H. Now, all these years later, we thought we'd take our baby in there. And boy, they got a new woman doctor running one of the facilities. She said, you get your ass out of here. You will take all the shots. And my wife's like, well, the insert's taking this and that. Sign a form saying it's not going to call. Oh, you get out of here. And they're so lazy, they robocall me now. They robocall me now and say, oh, bring your kids in, bring your kids in, bring your kids in, bring your kids in. These corporations, it's incredible. I know a lot of military people, special operations, regular military, all of it. And they talk about how, no, they would routinely, as officers, know that a good 3 or 4% of people would be sick for a month. Some would die after vaccines. But the LA Times, oh, there's this doctor. He might get fired. Why, he's a prominent guy. He's got a big successful practice and he isn't making people take shots. Well, there's no law or regulation or all of it, but they are sneaking up to this point. Look at this guy on. They are coming up to the point where they make people that even work in hospitals take all the vaccines, even though it increases their chances of getting the measles, mumps, the rubella, the shingles, all of it. And you read this article, this is who they're targeting. This is what they're doing. This is what's happening. And this is the medical tyranny where they've got thousands of so-called vaccines, which are genetic therapies, viral treatments. They just call something they inject in you a vaccine. It's thousands of different things now. And they've got stuff that goes in with live viruses in each part of your brain that's associated with higher emotions and depression, but also exultation, ecstasy, all of it. So they're saying the government's going to inject some stuff in you, and we're going to go from a few dozen to a few thousand, and anyone that doesn't do it will be arrested. That's not tyranny. Everything's fine. Take your shots and let us abort your babies and eat your GMO and don't worry about the aerosol spraying. There's no chemtrailing going on, even though there's thousands of documents admitting it. Well, there is the vaccine going on, and it's got a limit in it. To all you podcasters that got the word, don't talk about geoengineering, don't talk about the declassification, don't talk about aluminum levels in the dirt going up, don't talk about all the plant life and the animal life and the insect life dying. Just, here's the litmus test. George Soros killed Hitler. He's a hero. Hell, he's Jesus Christ. That's the litmus test. Vaccines are good for you. Fluoride's good for you. World government's good for you. GMO's good for you. The family's bad. That's an official, it's bad. Get rid of it, though. And you read their own documents. We're going to have a post-industrial world. We're going to bankrupt everybody. We're going to bring in all this pure tyranny. And then Michael Moore's up there saying, let's overthrow Trump. Let's have a revolution. Let's do all this because they know Trump's planning to reverse all this. He knows about the vaccines with Barron. He's now in the catbird seat. They're so scared he knows all this. And he's trying to reverse it. And now they're going to launch a revolution, even though everything's turning around. America's a patient, almost dead, is now up and getting better. And Moore's like, no, no, no. What the patient needs is bullets to the back of the head. So I'm going to end this live feed with a very, very important video that Rob New put together, taking one of the viral videos of the week and having some fun. And then there's another compilation video that deals with some of Trump's better comebacks and everything, because he knows the bread and circuits people want. But here's the deal. There's been a decision to be anti-human. There's been a decision to be predatory. There's been a decision to end human freedom as we know it. And Trump is just not a psychotic out to get you. I'm not either. And that's why newswars.com, prisonplanet.com, Infowars.com are under censorship and attack. It's why you get blocked or attacked when you put it out, because it's the antidote to this. But just keep pushing. We're winning together. And realize the power of you, the word of mouth you've got to spread the word about the live show, about Infowars.com, about Infowars.com/show, or the Twitter feeds or Facebook or YouTube. All of that, when you share that by hand, when you upload it to your own channel, whatever, it changes the world. You have human power. They're trying to teach you the age of humans is over, and the elites are merging with machines, and you should just die, and this is social Darwinism. It's all a fraud, and they know there are those of us that believe in humanity and believe in all that our ancestors have done, and they're trying to stop that. This is epic, and they know. I believe in you. I believe in myself. I can feel my ancestors. I can feel you. And I can actually tell we're going to win this. But it's going to be rough. And I want more people to make it across into the future than those that won't. So it's like it's a triage thing, but I really don't want to lose a lot of people. I mean, we're going to win. Okay. It's obvious. But we just have to have the maximum effort. And then, because, 20 years ago, I cared a little bit if somebody got in my face. Now, it's a sign that I've gotten their attention, and maybe they're going to wake up. And it's a sign of not rolling over to death. When I struggle against this, it's like the struggle against death, but not a struggle for myself against death, the struggle against species-wide death, planetary death. And that's where the globalists are taking us. So I just want you to know that I'm like a diver 100 feet down and my tanks quit working. And man, I made it back up to the surface. And it's beautiful and it's great. There's an island with coconuts and a nice restaurant. I can smell steak cooking on the grill. But then I look down into the water and I see my family and everybody else who doesn't understand their air is running out. And I'm out of tanks. But you know what? I've taken the deep dive because they matter more than I do. And it's not even selflessness. They are me. That's the full, they're men and women. They can continue. And I've got to go all the way down. And I've got to warn them with no air to get back up. It doesn't matter that I won't make it back up because I would die anyways. I'm not going to be on some goddamn Satanist island with a bunch of fucking steak while everybody else is fucking dead. You think I want to be with these goddamn vampires forever? Fuck no. So come up, man. Get to the surface. Get to the fucking surface. These fucking people think they've won. They haven't. And they just now realize we're waking up. So fuck them. And fuck them forever. It's unlimited we can do, but we've got to break their back now. And I already see people going to the surface. That's why the enemy's mad. But they're down there and they're just buying into all the TV and all this. Oh, is it really real while your tank's running down? You got to get out of here now. And that's the thing. Those of us that are already awake, we don't want to go back down into that crap, but we've got to take the deep dive. And it's not like we're some holy diver that is perfect. No, we are sinful, we're bad, but we know that this is spiritual death. And if we don't try to get as many of them out of there as we can, we will be sent to the bottom of that abyss forever. I want the millstone off my neck. But to do it, I've got to get it off your neck. All right. Michael Moore's coming for you. He thinks you're blind. He thinks you're a slave. He wants to abort as many of your kids. He spiked the ball about abortion and babies aren't humans in his frickin' program. And all I know more is you're going to hell, you son of a bitch. You degenerate, filthy. I can see who you are. You are a monster. You are a devil. You are somebody that feeds on the energy of children. You are a big, bloated, sycophantic vampire. All right, in this transmission, the revolution's here. We are the revolution. They're the counter-revolution. They're going to try a lot of crap, but as long as we're strong, we're going to win. That's it for this live broadcast.